Welcome to the Enlightened Misfits podcast, the space for entrepreneurs on a quest for unwavering certainty and purpose. I'm your host, Lauren, and each episode is a compass guiding you through authentic conversations, unraveling the mysteries of your human design chart, and offering tools from the remarkable guest. Join me as we embark on a journey to manifest greatness and create a life aligned with our deepest purpose. This is the space where misfits find their enlightenment. Welcome to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. Welcome back to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. I am your host, Lauren, and in today's episode, I have Leman. She is a spiritual life coach and holistic business coach. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you for our conversation this morning. So can you share with us how your background in like the spiritual life coach, past life regression therapy, and the holistic business coaching kind of intertwines together? So your unique approach for empowering entrepreneurs?
Wow, my journey actually started back when I was a kid. And I was trying to question the meaning of life, basically, where it got me leaded into channeling with the angels at a very young age. So I started channeling with the angels at a very young age, trying to find my own way, and trying to really question the meaning of life. And I was always a little girl that didn't see things as life as it seems, and there was more to everything. And that got me leaded into opening up my own business locally in 2011. And then I got the calling of closing down my local office and started to work online 7 years ago from now. And boy, that was a journey that was a rocky road that I was trying to get my message out there. I was trying to reach out to people worldwide. But the thing was, with being a spiritual life coach and investing in so many programs, business programs, trying to get myself out there on social media was literally difficult as a spiritual entrepreneur, because of the light-minded way that spiritual entrepreneurs are, because of the way that they see things. And I even remember those crazy avatar worksheets that I always talk about, where they weren't truly aligning with me. And one of the crazy questions was that I always mention, and it just literally resonates with a lot of people, I'm sure, is one of the questions was, what's your avatar's favorite movie? And I was just sitting there thinking, okay, if my so-called avatar likes science fiction or likes romantic comedy or vice versa, and I like this and that, what's that got to do with my ideal soul client? And at one point I was literally going down the rabbit hole, going in burnout, literally in that positioning of giving up, when I actually sat down and pulled myself together and said to myself, hey, this is going to work. And when the universe just shows you sharp signs and you can't see them, that was a positioning that I was in that time. And when I started to do my inner work and tap into my inner self, I realized that sign that was literally in my face, because at that time I was actually working with 2 other coaches and therapists. And the calling just said to me, connect with spiritual entrepreneurs, help them reach professional growth, connecting with their power within, creating their own unique, authentic brands to stand out in the crowd, remove the negative energy blocks, and empowering them to reach professional growth. And I was like, Oh, okay. How am I going to do that? But I actually, went for the calling. I started to develop my own program, my own brand for spiritual entrepreneurs. And since then, I've had hundreds of amazing clients who has been on this journey with me, and they've had great results with literally connecting with their power then. What they're worth of, removing those negative blockages and putting them into that positioning on social media so that they can actually reach professional growth and connect with their ideal soul clients. And if you're asking about what happened to the avatar sheet, well, I created my own very own unique one.
I was literally thinking that. Now I need to know what happened to this. That's funny. I mean, it makes sense of why I was literally just thinking that. Like, I need to know what happened to this avatar sheet. So yeah, that's awesome. I was gonna say everything that you said, it makes sense. It's very similar for mine too, like very heart-centered, very conscious business, like helping people with those limiting beliefs. My system that I use is human design. But that's kind of like the system of like helping people understand, like teaching them their human design. So in a way, I always tell people you have to find something that works for you. And, some people don't really like to understand their human design, but it's who they are. So
Mm.
if they understand it a little bit, you don't have to. I always tell people you don't have to go down the rabbit hole of what I did for the last 8 years, because I self-taught myself human design. But that's just because that's what I wanted. That personal power is huge. You don't need anybody else. I mean, you need obviously a mentor to help guide you, through that, but you don't need somebody to tell you, do it this way. This is your strategy, because I went through, just like I'm sure you did the same thing. You kind of had a mentor telling you what to do, and you're like, this doesn't work for me, right? Like, I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
a lot of,
Many mentors.
yes.
I
And you're
mean,
like, this doesn't work for me. Like, this is not, that was how I was. I'm not sure if you're really familiar with human design, but I'm a projector. So it's like a manifestor or a manifesting generator, a generator's way of being, and quick, I'm gonna get quick to burnout, like you said, so it's like none of this is working. I'm wasting all thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm now bitter because nothing's working.
yeah,
So
that was exactly the position I was in.
yeah, yeah. And it's not really a place that you want to always be in, because it's like here we are again, we're staying in place, like now what do I do? So I love that somebody needed to hear that if they're listening to this, or I feel like there's so many now. The coaching space is very loud, online is very loud, everybody's trying to sell something, and I feel like those authentic people that are actually there to help, like those guides that are there to help, you're going to hear them much louder now. And I love that now, because I can see that in the online space. I mean, right now
Absolutely.
currently I'm like, I don't even want to get on social media right now. Like, it's just very overwhelming, but I'm in a place that I'm in a new space. So it's like, I'm just trying to be in my own energy, So, social media can be very overwhelming. Like you said, it was like, a very hard time.
And
That's probably the easiest way to say it.
absolutely. And I have actually realized where it's becoming more authentic.
Yeah.
People are looking for, authenticity. And I always say to my clients, don't be afraid to share your story.
Mm-hmm.
Tell people the truth, tell people where you are right now. I mean, even if it's a post about, hey, I don't feel good today,
Yeah.
tell people that, people need to know, because you're connecting with those people, literally being yourself. And that is the most important key when it comes to attracting, your leads, your ideal clients, because they don't want to know those big guru, I make 6, 7 figures, 10 figures a month,
Yeah.
come and join my program, because, people haven't got results from those things. And they're
Right.
looking for much more genuine connection, especially spiritual entrepreneurs. I mean, they're coming out of their shell. I done a post the other day in a group where I said, it's time for us to, come out of that caterpillar, and turn into a butterfly, because, you know, we're out there to serve the world and share our gifts. And I always say that, you know, serving is selling. And a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs tend to find that, oh, yeah, but, you know, I don't like the selling side of it. Yeah, well, you know, obviously we want to do, you know, just serve and help our clients. But the big game is, you know, we have to put ourselves out there.
Right. Yeah. And I'm just like you too. I said this to my boyfriend the other day. I said, I wish I could just, you know, my whole thing was I had tons of money trauma, tons of money blocks that I've worked through over years. But, you know, which I finally feel like, you know, my worth, I feel like when I was going through my journey the last couple years, probably I wouldn't say like the last 2 years, I always kept hearing charge your worth, and I never resonated with that. And I'm like, my worth is more than what I charge. So why am I going to do that? Right. But you can't start out from a new coach or a new mentor or guide or whatever you call yourself and then charge $10,000. Like nobody, like you, you got to start somewhere. And I always say to people, especially like my clients too, like, you got to do a lot of shit for free. You know, you have to do a lot of stuff for free. Now we all have to play in this 3D matrix. So it's like we all have to pay bills, right? So we have to charge money. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not authentic to who you are. It just means you have bills. Like all of us, I know for a fact, authentic, you know, if that's, you know, what resonates with you, would not charge a dime. Like that's just what we just do it because that's what it's heart centered. It's what we want to do to serve, right? So it's like you can, I can see those people that do it for the money, and it's very loud, and then I can see those people that are doing it to help, and obviously they're going to just charge you because it's their business, right? So I love that. That is, it's like a huge shift that has happened, I feel like, because I'm like, are you just trying to make me buy something for you, or do you really care to help me, you know? Like, and it's like you don't have to question
Absolutely, yeah.
that. Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of people, yeah, the free stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, yes, you should give free value. It's the know, like, and trust factor.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I always say to my clients, okay, you know, you will have your free lead magnets, your free little bundles and free offers that will build up those, you know, those genuine connections.
Yes. Yeah.
So feeling that. But this doesn't mean that, hey, go and do your whole business for free. You know,
Right.
it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
building up that know, like, and trust, telling people that, hey, you know, I'm the big deal. You'll get results, you know, when you work with me. And it's a taste.
Yes. Yeah. I love how you said it. It's the, what did you say it again? Can you say it again? The know, like, and trust, right?
Yes, the know,
Yeah.
like, and trust.
Yeah. I like how you said that, because that, I mean, trust is the ultimate thing. Like, you know, some people just, you know, some people have came to me, and this is the thing with this shift, and I know that there's a lot of people that listen to this podcast that also are you know, spiritual entrepreneurs, and they're a couple of the things that I've, even my own clients that I've been helping them with is, one, stop acting like you need to charge your worth, because I don't, that's not a belief that I ever believed in. So most of them that, you know, are connected to me, or just in general, they also don't believe that either. So it's like, you know, they have to charge something. And even me, my mentor had said to me the other day, you're not even charging enough. And I was like, well, what is enough? Like, I don't know what you mean by that. Like, tell me, give
Yeah.
me, like, you know, what is enough? Because it's what I feel now. I feel like every 3 months I might change my prices a little bit, but I don't want to, you know, go from, you know, you could go from a $3,000 coaching program to five. That's a huge jump, you know, and you better, I was thinking I better make sure I have value in there, which I mean, I normally always do. It's overvalued, but, you know, I always have, you know, tell people, you know, that is important. The value and then the trust of whoever that is the only thing that's going to make them say, here's my credit card. You know, it's not like, you know, what you're actually helping them with. It's like, do they trust you? You know, so I think that is a very, like, a huge misconception in the coaching space.
Yes, totally agree with you. And it is that, you know, I always say that, if you want to have a high ticket offer, you have to have a low ticket offer to convert those clients to a high ticket offer.
Yeah.
And, it's like, it's in one of my programs that will be starting in May the 16th. And one of the things that we are actually doing there is going to be creating a low ticket offer to convert your high ticket clients. Because yes, okay. I mean, you do have your high ticket offers. That's okay. But a lot of people feel that they have to have those high, big ticket offers, to make revenue, to make, money, where I have experience where I've actually made more money literally with my low ticket offers and converted clients into my high ticket offers throughout those, with my experience. So, it is the way that you actually look at it. And you are valuable, you are worth it. And it's the mindset towards what you have, which will allow you to reach that profitable growth in your business.
Right. Yeah, I love that you also said that too, because when I first started out, probably, I think when I first started out, it was like that period of like getting things together, right? That was like probably 4 years ago now, I guess, 4, maybe 5. And then, so people, what I've noticed too, and I don't need to call people out, but I'm just going to be very blunt, is people say they have a business, but they don't have an offer and they don't have a client. So I was on maybe I was on an interview with one of my dear friends, Tracy, or maybe I was on, like, we collaborate together. And she had said to me, if you don't have, like, she it's been doing, coaching and, helping people build their businesses for the last 20 years. And I started laughing because that was me like 4 years ago. I would say I had a business, but I had no offer and I had no client. So, and I always tell people, like, what's your offer? And most people are like, I don't have one. So, okay, well, let's start there. Like, we have to start there, right? And usually it's a small, and I can definitely resonate with you. I sell more of my low ticket to a lot of people than my high ticket, because for me, I don't have the energy to coach one-on-one 10 people a week. I just don't. And I don't want to. Like, it's not something I ever want to do. Like, 4 people at the max right now. And, I have the podcast and I have all this other stuff going on that I feel like, wow, 4 people can be a lot too. And that's one-on-one. Now I have other programs too, like coaching. And I love doing it in groups. Like, I love the whole community because it's not just my energy, it's everybody else's. And I feel like that's really valuable too. Would you say, when could you elaborate on when you said, you help your clients overcome your limiting beliefs and the mindset challenges, or possibly even lifestyle concerns, to help them personal life and their professional lives?
Yes, because one thing is that we have those limited beliefs, those limited blockages. They sometimes come from ancestral experiences. They can be experiences from our past. And sometimes they can be experiences of scarcity, where we actually go into that, that mindset that, we're not good enough. We won't get those results. Who would want to buy from me? And it's basically the same general issues and problems. What we do when you work with me is we actually literally, first of all, connect with yourself. So we allow you to let go of those limited beliefs with various channeling, energy work, mindset work. And I get you into that position of aligning with your true purpose, just true soul connection. Then we start going deep into the actual core of the business strategy. And I mean, the business strategy is totally different than, a normal business coach would do. It's more sort of individual and unique to that client, where we actually tap into their energy frequency and, how they are going to put themselves out there. So it's not just here's the blueprint, here's the template, do what you do and, get the results, which is common in many programs.
Yeah.
So we literally tap into those limiting beliefs of, where are you right now? Why aren't you getting those results that, you've tried so many times and you've put yourself out there and you've done all the work that's expected from you, but you're still not getting those results. So it ties back into those limiting beliefs, those negative energy blocks that, are holding you back because you are, a individual spiritual entrepreneur. You're an empath, you channel, you're connected with the divine, and you pull so many things towards you without even realizing it.
Yeah.
And it comes down to really, really connecting within yourself. And that's my approach, is actually connecting with your power then, because you're worth more than you think you are. But it's like, you said, those limiting beliefs, those negative blockages that we literally have to overcome so that we can be those best versions of ourselves and start to get those results that we are really looking for.
Yes. I love that. Now, you said something about I love past life stuff, because I feel like since I've kind of dove into it more the last couple years, I realized, okay, so like I can use it as wisdom and not something that can hold me back in this lifetime. Can you kind of explain how, like in a session, or like if somebody were to work with you, how this is so important?
Yeah. Well, basically, in the sessions, we tap into the client's Akashic records, where we delve deep into their past lives. And this can be a past life from a past lifetime. It can be something generational, or it can be a life experience from this lifetime, where we go diving deep into the core issue of what's going on. And then we heal it, reveal it, and let it go. And they get to see it, also experience it. So they're experiencing the actual past life regression session themselves. And I'm doing the channeling as well to help them through, giving them the guidance. But they're actually seeing it themselves, and they're actually feeling it, emotionally and physically. And my clients have experienced amazing transformations with it, working with me. Their life has literally changed.
Yeah.
And it is really powerful, because those things that we cannot let go of, those things that we cannot forgive, or those things that have been accessed into our DNA access, or our soul connection through generations to generations, where we have those karmic patterns that follow us into this lifetime, and we don't know what the reason is behind it. And, many of my clients, when they actually go into the past life regression, and they're like, oh, wow, that was the reason why, and yeah, it's time for me to let this go, because, this doesn't serve me no longer. And the amazing transformation that people actually have with past life regression is out of this world. I mean, when I took up past life regression courses back in 2010, and started doing the work, I realized that I was actually channeling with the angels.
Yeah.
When I was doing it. So I developed my own brand, Angel Light Past Life Regression Therapy, because I call in the angels and I actually channel with them with that energy frequency. And they also help the healing process of what needs to be healed, as well as the clients actually experiencing those experiences as well.
Yeah, I love that. I have a very similar story. When I first did, I did a past life regression with somebody, I forget her name. It was like, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago. And then I realized, holy shit, I have been doing this my entire life because I would just do it on my own. I would just kind of guide myself on my own, kind of like I knew I had all these gifts when I was a little girl. It was just obviously life experiences, just life got in the way. But I've always been able to do it too. So when people I guess when I channel, sometimes I don't ever really, when I'm in a session with somebody, if we're doing whatever we're doing, I'll just randomly say stuff and people like, they'll be like, what did you just say? I was like, I don't remember. It obviously it's not from my brain. It's like, and
I know that.
so I try to write stuff down because I know that why did I just say that? Or I'll go on a rant about something, even on the podcast, there'll be something that comes through that I'm talking about. And then like after it's done recording and, I'm like, why did I just go on a rant about that? And then the next day something happens and I'm like, oh, somebody must needed to hear what I had to say, something about that. So sometimes I even do the same thing. It's like, why am I talking about this right now? Like, I feel like it has nothing
Yeah,
to do with what we're doing. I'm like, or talking
I
about.
know the feeling. I definitely resonate with that. Yeah, I do sometimes get it when I'm saying something and I'm going on, and then they say, "Can you repeat what you just said?" I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. And I noticed that I noticed for me, it was probably like when people would say I needed to hear that. And I was like, I never understood it. And then obviously, being on this path now, I just know, like, I just say
Yeah.
things because maybe that will help. Now I have to be careful because, being a projector in human design, if my advice is not asked for, it's going to be taken from the other person as, oh, you're a know-it-all, I didn't ask for that, all that stuff. It's going to be met with resistance. So I now know that about myself, which made a lot of sense throughout my whole childhood and even adult, like, when I was a teenager, because I always wanted to help people, but I never actually knew that I was supposed to ask for their permission to give them guidance because according to my energy type.
Mm.
So I'm like, now I do know that. And I'll say, can I give you a suggestion? Or if they come to me, obviously they're asking me for advice. So then I can kind of give them advice or, I can give them guidance or whatever. But sometimes it's really hard for me to wait until I'm invited because that's my strategy. So it's hard because I do want to help people. Like I do want to help them, but I have to remind myself, if I don't, then I'm going to be met with a lot of resistance, right? So I
Mm.
always tell people, understanding their energy around them and understanding their own energy, like you said, their personal power is super important because everything in your life, even past life stuff, I feel like it just clicks. One day it's like, oh my goodness, everything makes sense. I feel like that's just for me.
It comes when you're ready, that's for
Yeah,
sure. It comes
yeah,
when you're ready. And I mean, as you're mentioning with the channeling, I mean, I do have times when I get messages
mhm,
uh, for my clients, and I get that calling saying to me, they're not ready yet,
yeah,
to hear
yeah,
this,
yeah,
or, the right time will come for you to tell them.
yes,
And I've had those feelings, but I'm urging to tell them, this
yeah,
is what's going to be going on, or this is what's happening to you right now. But when they're not ready to hear, what they need to hear, it's that point where you just have to wait. And when they're
yeah.
ready,
Yes.
I mean, the other day, I remember with one of my clients, and she's been working with me for 4 years now with past life regression. And she said something to me, and I'm like, oh my God, BS. I don't believe it. I knew that before you told me, a month ago. And
Yeah.
she was like, really? And I said, yes, really. And then we said in our next session, we have to work on this because now it's the time for you to let go of that. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And it is, I mean, it is, something that you should not know, or,
Yeah.
something
Yes.
that,
Yeah. That's how I
you know,
feel. I'm like,
something.
I should know this right now. Why do I know this right now? And then it's just like, but that I know that that's my ego. Like I know that's all ego. And it's like I'm, very good at wait, like for a client, very, very good. When I know I'm met with resistance for them, or I say something and I know exactly if they're throwing back resistance, I'm like, okay, so I know exactly what we need to work on. But like you said, if they're not ready, then, we'll just work on something else, or we'll continue to do this, or we'll do something else. Like whatever they need to work on in that session is what we work on. But then I always get a download of what they need to, like what spirit wants them to work on, or what the universe, what they need to, their block is. And I'm like, but then I always hear, like you said, not right now. And I'm like, okay, well, why are you telling me this then? Why do I need to know this? Tell me when they're ready.
Just informing you,
Yeah, I'm like,
that's
stop
it.
it. I'm like, no, and then don't tell me. I don't need to know it. Yeah. So no, I definitely, and I do like same thing too. I channel, I channel the angels. I channel a whole, like I usually right now, actually, I've been meeting a whole bunch of different people because I'm actually going through the shamanic journey myself. This is the first time that I've done it. So next week actually will be my last week doing it. So it's a very interesting journey. And a lot of people I talk to, they're like, oh yeah, I've done that before. And I'm like, but it's a journey for life. Like it doesn't just stop. Right. But I feel like the way that people understand it, they think it's just, oh, I do these 10 weeks, or, I'm doing the Moon Key. So the 10 weeks, or you get all the rights, and then like it just stops. And then you think your life is going to change. Like, no, that's not how I understood it. I'm like, it's when I've read all of the material, it was like 10 years of clearing out deep, stuff. So it's been very interesting, but I want to say now that I've kind of came out on the underworld, that it's transformational for me. It's transformational for my clients. So I'm glad. At the time when I was going through it with another friend, I'm like, why the fuck did we decide to do this? What is going on? Like that is literally how I felt. I'm like, why do we have to keep looking at the same stuff all the time? But it was because I wasn't healing it. Like it was, Mayan was about not loving myself. I mean, it's my deepest genetic trauma is rejection. And that story I told myself that I'm not lovable. I mean, and like through that whole transformation, I was doing coaching, I was doing this. And then it's like, I feel like a fraud. Like I'm helping people love themselves and turn into their power, but I'm also not allowing people to love me. So it was like that shift of, no, I'm not a fraud. It was how it was supposed to happen, when it was supposed to happen. And it was just a deeper layer. And the shamanic journey had helped me uncover that I feel like when I said to you earlier that I was in this new place of being, I wasn't ready to talk about it when after the retreat that I had for other people, I had my own transformation there. So it was like, I was holding space for other women, and I realized that at that time I forgot about myself. And I feel like a lot of people, and I feel like I'm saying this now because I feel like a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, or even healers, or even mentors, we forget about ourselves a lot because we're always giving out so much, right? So it's like I, for a couple months, not forgot about myself, but I stopped, doing all the things all the tools that I know, like all of the, shadow work that I need to do or whatever, and I thought it was at that time, it was a reminder that even though people can look at my success, or people can look at your success, or whoever, it doesn't mean that we don't have to go through the same thing. Life is hard. It's hard for people that are in the spiritual path.
Yeah. It's much harder for us than any other person. I mean, I always say, light workers have much more stronger challenges than any other ordinary 100%. Person. Yeah. Now we go through the tough stuff. I mean, literally, and I always say, if, the universe knows that you can go through that challenge, that's why you face that challenge. Right?
You're going through it. You're not going over it or under it. I tried all of it. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go over here. No, you're going to go through it, And
I would say, right, it's not, struggling, right? But it's challenges. And, the word struggle is, is like being in that deep sort of thing that, you can't do it. Whereas a challenge is knowing your worth, right? Knowing that you can come through with those obstacles, at the end of that race, okay, before you get to the end of the race, there's hurdles.
Right.
Right? You have to jump
Yeah.
those hurdles and go to the end of that challenge so that you can say, hey, yes, I've succeeded. And yeah, like you said, it is really, really different for, spiritual people, spiritual entrepreneurs, because we're more connected with the divine.
Right.
Those challenges are sort of like challenging us to become the better version of ourselves, the worth, and it's important for us to know, like, and trust ourselves as well when it comes to that, and self-love is really important. And yes, we tend to forget that because we find that, yeah, well, we've got all these things to do. We're up on our business. We've got our daily schedules. We may be mums. We may be home entrepreneurs, and all these things that we're going on with. And we tend to forget. And, I've experienced many times when I've got a client in front of me and I'm telling them what to do. And I'm like saying to myself, hey, yeah, you know what? You haven't done that yourself for a long time,
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Literally.
yeah, but you should start doing it yourself, right?
Yeah.
You know what to do, so why aren't you doing it, right?
Yeah.
Telling other people to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that you say that because literally the week of my retreat, I was completely booked solid. And like normally I don't book myself like that. Like I usually kind of like sporadic, like just because I do so many different things and I'm a mom of a 4.5-year-old, so it can just change any minute, So and everybody canceled. And I was like, okay, Spirit, I hear you. Like I knew like I had to get ready for this retreat. I had to finish doing stuff. And it usually works out that way. I'm like, well, if I'm not supposed to be doing something, then the spirit will take care of it because that's just how it usually is. And when I was talking to somebody, I was giving her like advice on something. And then I immediately heard, so now you take it. And I was like, I'm going to go to this retreat. I'm going to just go to this retreat and see how this goes because, I was a host of the retreat. So I was under the impression that it's not my time to go through a transformation. But then the other retreat leader, she said, I want you to do this breath work. And immediately I felt resistance. And I was like, oh God, here we go. Like I knew that was why I had to, like why she said that. I knew immediately why she said it. And I was like, no, it's okay. Like I was very resistant to it, but I was like, okay, like I'll do it because this was the chance that I needed to get me further. Like I was blocking myself for like weeks and just like different things, and I knew that I needed especially because I kind of thought before going to the retreat, I'm like, and I told the girls there this too. Like I was very transparent. I'm very transparent everywhere. I feel like sometimes I say too much. And now I'm looking at the clock. It's 11:11 here. So like, but whatever, like people love it because I was going to say people love it because I don't know how else to be. I don't know how to sugarcoat stuff. I don't know how else to not be real. Maybe I could keep my mouth shut a little bit, but I just don't, it's just who I am. And I said to them, I have to be completely honest with you guys. I didn't want to come here. I didn't want to do this retreat. I wanted to be sick. I wanted something to happen. And here I'm saying this to them and they're looking at me and they're like, they say back to me, it's because you're resisting something. And I'm like, I love that accountability because these are people that, are potential clients or just random people that I met. And here I'm telling them how I feel. And then they're like, wow, like she's actually real. Like she's a human. She has emotions. She's a real person. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. And it's like,
yeah.
Okay, even though I'm your coach, right? Even though I'm your therapist, even though I'm teaching you all this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I have my bad days as well,
Right. Yes.
I mean, one of my clients was saying to me the other day, I need to make some more money and I'm having that, that scarcity mindset that I won't move forward to. I said to her, hey, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
I am your coach and I go through those things as well.
Yep.
Right? It doesn't mean, hey, yeah, but, I don't have those feelings. I know how you feel right now, but you just have to move forward and push through, what is holding you back, that resistance of not showing up to yourself. Because And, but people will say, yeah, but, you're the coach, you've made it, you've done it all, you're there.
Yeah.
While you're teaching the stuff. But even though, right, that realization that people are having is, okay, yes, but I'm a real person, I'm authentic. And like you said, I talk a lot too. I mean, I talk a lot.
Yeah.
And I always
that's why
be
we connect so
open,
well.
right? Because, yeah, and it is the way that, you actually show up to yourself, because those people are looking for you individually, right?
Yeah.
And your leads, your ideal clients, your soul clients, whether it's in a retreat or a seminar,
yeah,
or a live or an interview or whatever it is that, you're showcasing yourself, right? Tell people, okay, this is me behind the scenes. I'm not just this, 5, 6, 4-figure coach, okay, but
right.
I do have my days,
Yeah.
and I can go down that, that rabbit hole, and I can go through sometimes, obstacles and challenges that I have to face, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, you can even, I've experienced this many times where I've got answers from my clients. It's like we're in a session and I'm giving something, doing the training with them and doing something with them. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I need to do with something that, you're working on at that time. And it's like,
Yeah.
you just got that answer from a client. It's like, that's cool,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes.
So it is that, that moment of knowing and communicating with yourself and
Yes.
knowing what you are worth, and, knowing that, you are in that position right now. This is me. This is who I am. This is the fear that I have. This is the scarcity that I have. This is what I'm feeling right now. Okay. And it's okay to feel those emotions. It's okay to feel that, because those things that you are facing are making the best version of you.
Yes. I love that. So before we wrap up, is there one last final thought that you wanted to share with the audience or the listeners? Or do you have any, if they want to connect with you, do you have any programs coming up? This will air in about 7 weeks. So is there any, how can they connect with you if they want to learn more about your free power session, any of that?
Yeah. I'm sure you've got the links.
Yes.
So
yeah.
they can, you can connect with me and have a free power hour session. Well, I'll help you to connect with those negative energy blocks, helping you let go and helping you to move forward in your business, so that we can create a message that relates with you and your audience, so that you can start to attract those soul clients on that soul level. I also have an amazing program coming up called Step Up to Attract Your Soul Clients in 30 days. It's starting on the 16th of May, so there's not much time. And I actually do have a special offer on that with a 70% discount. So if you connect with me, then I give you more details about the offer. We will literally dive deep into your soul connection, your purpose, aligning your marketing message, your content creation that would align with your ideal soul clients. We'll process into building up your confidence so that you can stand up in the crowd with your own authenticity. And we will actually create a low ticket offer that will convert into a high ticket client as well. And so much more that I could go on for. But if you are definitely interested in that, it is starting on the 16th of May. So you can contact me through the links as well, and I'm happy to help you with that.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe. You can leave a review and share with somebody that you feel that will gain knowledge from listening to this episode today. Make sure that you click the description box or the show notes, depending on if you're watching it on YouTube or listening to it. All of her links, if you want to connect with her or follow her on social media, are in the description box. So stay tuned for more captivating conversations in the future. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And I will see you next time. Thank you for joining us on another enlightening episode on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you are a current or inspiring to be fempreneur, suffering from the fear of being seen and or feel very triggered when you're building your business, reach out to me at The Mermaid Light about my Rich and Resilient Biz Baddies. This is a collective text message Voxer support group designed to help you heal your triggers and turn imposter syndrome into bad bitch energy. If you resonate with our conversations and insight, don't forget to subscribe, rate the show, and leave a review. Your feedback fuels our mission. Remember, your journey to unwavering certainty and purpose is ongoing. So please make sure you stay connected with us on social media. Keep manifesting greatness in your life. Until next time, this is Lauren from the Enlightened Misfits podcast. Stay enlightened, stay inspired, and keep manifesting your extraordinary path.